Welcome back, everybody. Now, in a few days, Mr. Fantastic is getting a buff. So today, what I thought we could do was we could do a little bit of gameplay with my Awakened Signature Level 20 unupgraded 4-star version of the man, Mr. Fantastic. Now, just to warm up just a little bit, we are going to be starting off in just a little bit of master event quest. Nothing too hard, just so I can show you guys a little bit of this guy. Now, I used to have him unawakened 4-star rank 3, but then I sold him because I just hated the champion. And I kind of like him, I kind of don't like him nowadays. The reason I like him is because he's got a solid damage output, or like he's got solid damage, but he's so reliant on the synergies. So what you want to do for the first fight is you want to bring in 2 Mr. Fantastics, and on the second one that you're not going to be using, you want to activate the first 2 pre-fights, and then the one you are going to be using, you want to activate Suppression Field, and I'll explain what those are later and why you want a second Mr. Fantastic on the team. Alright, but we start off with a bunch of debuffs on the opponents, and I'm pretty sure it's I'm pretty sure it is the Invisible Woman synergy that is giving us an extra long stun. Yeah, debuffs, all debuffs will last 25% longer with Invisible Woman, so we have enough time to do medium, and then start a whole new combo. Now, the reason I threw a heavy attack in right there was so I could refresh all of the different debuffs on the person. And right there, I get clipped. But yeah, this guy, I don't like him because he's so synergy reliant and so pre-fight reliant that it's just not even funny, and it's not, like, it's just plain out annoying. I can't really, and like even with all this, he's still not the solidest champion. Like Domino, you only need 2 people. You'd fill up 3 spots in total, and Domino you can just use for so much. But yeah, just to finish off the fight, we are going with the SP2, and yes, this does finish off the first fight in about 45 hits. Yeah, 45 hits. Alright, now we are going to be moving on to Doctor Strange. And the synergy team we have now is the exact synergy team you need. Thing, Mr. Fantastic, Invisible Woman, Human Torch, so the Fantastic Four. And most of you would probably say, well, probably Doom would be the last, right? Wrong. You want another Mr. Fantastic on the team. And yeah, for the pre-fights, and that's only the first fight that you're going to be needing them. But yeah, you can get up to a max of 5 of the charges, but that's after the first fight. So you need them for the first fight. After that, you can activate all 3 pre-fights and not have to worry about it. Alright, but yeah, the Petrify and all the debuffs are about to run out, which is not looking ideal for us. Thankfully, I am able to refresh it by using the heavy attack. Yeah, and the pre-fights are what are giving us so many debuffs. And yeah, it's just like the synergies, like but they also really rely on the synergies. Alright, but I go for the SP2 to stack the debuffs. Their evade actually saves me. Most of the time I hate evading if like I'm not expecting it to come, since it just completely throws me off. Alright, but now we are moving on to Sasquatch, and don't worry, we will be going into harder fights a little bit later on in the video. And yeah, but now we got Sasquatch. Sasquatch is a bit more of an annoying champion. And here I forgot to activate the pre-fights, so you can see how much worse he is. He is still getting the weakness on them, but that's just because of whenever he stuns the opponents. Whenever he stuns the opponent, they put a weakness on them. 'Cause, But yeah, I don't think that's a part like of a synergy or anything like that. 1 sec, I'm just checking. Yeah, I don't think it is. Yeah, I don't think it is. I think that may just be something in general for him. Alright, but yeah, as you can see, the damage output is just so much worse. Right here, I'm trying to bait out a special 2. It's not working, but now I do get it out of him. And, yeah, he's not even an overly fun champion. Actually, I didn't used to think he was a fun champion. After my encounter with him today, in my opinion, he's a little bit more fun, but not an extreme amount. But yeah, it's funny because I have willpower and that debuff, the rupture debuff he put on me is actually helping me. Alright, but after the SP2 and you have both, and you have all the debuffs to 2 stacks, I know we don't have the pre-fight, so it's impossible for this fight, but normally when you have the 2 stacks, then you want to go for this special 3. Now this gives you a Fury attack, increasing your attack, I think, extra per time per debuff you have on the person. So yeah, normally it's a lot better. Yeah, so normally it is a lot higher with the pre-fights. But yeah, with the synergy team and the pre-fights, this dude is like a very high debuff champion. Alright, but now I think it is time to explain the pre-fight abilities. Here I forgot to do it again, but I'm just going to explain the pre-fight abilities really fast. Alright, but the first pre-fight is called Petrification Ray, and it reduces the effectiveness of the defender's regeneration and power gain by 30%. So that's nice. And yeah, in this fight, the bleeds are just eating us alive. Now the second one is Debuff Signer. Reduce the potency of the defender's damage over time, debuffs by 19%, and increase the potency of those effects against them by the same amount. This does not affect abilities that trigger at the start of the fight. So yeah, that one, it's pretty solid. But yeah, oh yeah, it's a glitch that happens with Mr. Fantastic sometimes, which I always think is pretty funny and I like it. Alright, but yeah, so the final one is Suppression Field, and it decreases the defensive combat power rate by 19%, so it's basically, just, less power gain, so it helps, but it's not a huge deal. Alright, but now we are going to be going into, some Act 4, and we are going to be seeing if we can beat the Hulk, in the last quest of it, and we're gonna go as far as we can, but yeah, so yeah, so I move up, and yeah, and this guy's thing is, he basically has double the life, or almost double the life, and you see how I have to do it with the 2-star, because you only start out with the 2 charges, and that's not enough for activating all 3. But anyway, but yeah, this guy has basically double life for physical people, because he has 80% physical resistance, so any physical attack will do 80% less damage than it normally would. But yeah, normally, yeah, but with the the Invisible Woman synergy might be the best in my opinion, just because you can throw in the what's it called? It's the extra stun time or extra debuff time. Alright, but yeah, I throw off the SP2. I have everything at 2 stacks. We're looking good, but yeah, then he throws off his SP1. I get hit, I get stunned, and yeah, now I'm dead. Or almost dead. I can't really survive that much longer, but I refresh the debuffs anyway. Keep on refreshing them, and I'm able to dex the SP1. But yeah, now it's time to go for the SP3. I'm really close. I'm not exactly sure what to do here. I have to get a really good intercept, and there we go. But yeah, now it's time to throw off the SP3. I have all the debuffs needed, and yeah, so the Fury should be really effective after this. But yeah. Okay, but yeah, I get the dex on the SP1, and yeah, as you can see, the damage is just doing so much more. Instead of 17 lights, it's doing 40 lights. But yeah, there, I end up getting the parry, but it's still not enough damage. It's still too much damage to handle. Alright, but yeah, so, I'm gonna exit out, and, I'm gonna try again. Because I know I could do it as long as I could dex the SP1. Um, but yeah. Okay, but yeah. So the physical resistance might be a little bit annoying. But yeah, just so you guys know, after the SP3, you just keep on doing SP3s over and over and over, and just try to keep up the debuffs. If you lose the debuffs, you gotta do 2 SP2s. And here I quit out of the fight because I realized I forgot to activate the pre-fights. So here I was really annoyed. I got hit by an SP1, and then I forgot to activate the pre-fights, and yeah, he's just not good without the pre-fights. And yeah, he's just so reliant on synergies and pre-fights. It's not even that good. I think if he had all this just built into him, he wouldn't need a buff. However, yes, I do believe he needs a buff. He's not a good champion. By far the worst in the Fantastic Four. Thing the best in my opinion, then Torch, but then again Thing is a little bit is also very reliant on a synergy team, but he's just beyond crazy with his synergy team. But yeah, then Torch is probably the best synergy list. He's like not synergy reliant at all. Invisible Woman is not synergy reliant either. However, yeah, she's just not as good. Alright, but we throw off the SP2, and yeah, we get the slam, we get the crit. Now, I think Mr. Fantastic's animations are very cool. And yeah, here I die again. I think Mr. Fantastic's animations are very cool and very impressive. However, he can just be boring to play because the damage output without the Fantastic Four synergy is not there where it should be and needs to be. However, yeah, and his animations are just a little bit slow. But yeah, I'm not exactly sure how many more times I lose. I just kept getting hit by that SP1. For some reason, it's this one SP1 from this exact Hulk that I just cannot dex. It's so weird. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think there's no like node or anything, but I don't know why. There's just this one Hulk that I cannot dex the SP1. Alright, but I activate the pre-fights and I go in yet again. Alright, but yeah, if you struggle to remember to refresh the Furies, refresh the debuffs, try to remember this way. Do a combo, and then the next parry you get, throw off the heavy. So combo, heavy, combo, heavy, combo, heavy. But yeah, this one I was very determined to keep pushing him to the SP2. But yeah, I throw off the SP2. And I lost the debuffs, but I got a couple of them back. I think I got all of them back. Yeah. But yeah, I think I forgot to refresh them. There, I tried to bait out an SP2. Don't know why. There, I learned my lesson. I blocked through the SP1. I was not gonna make the mistake again. There, I made the mistake. And yeah, the evade there didn't really save me. But yeah, it just kind of threw me off. Alright, but yeah, you also do get a shock on when you throw off the SP2, which is really nice. Yeah, so here I try to bait out an SP2, and I'm not exactly sure how much the shock does. It depends on how upgraded he is for you. And yeah. And yeah, for the awakened ability, I haven't really said the awakened ability. It's his offensive combat power rate. It's increased by a certain amount based on the signature level. For each carefully studied passive on the opponents. And yeah, other than that, it's extra evades, which is always nice. It's always very, very solid for defense, especially if you're facing somebody like Nick Fury, who's completely unblockable. I believe like they have like up to a 50% chance to throw. He has like a 50% chance to evade unblockable attacks. But yeah. Alright, now there is a small downside to activating the pre-fights, and I don't think this will really affect anybody except for defense, because if they have a pre-fight on, the special attacks are not unblockable. So if you realize, my special attacks are not unblockable, but yeah, you've experienced the unblockable so many times when you are fighting Mr. Fantastic. Yeah, that just know that that's why. Alright, but yeah, I'm activating all the pre-fights, and overall, I'm happy this guy is getting a buff. He's an amazing defender, and I'm just hoping he has all this already packed into him, and he doesn't need the synergies or the pre-fights. That would be an ideal buff for me, and yeah, the pre-fights and the synergies would just be like Domino. Like, Domino is still a very solid champion, even without her Trinity, but yeah. Alright, but yeah, so I refresh the debuffs, and I throw off the SP2. I double the debuffs, yeah, now it's time to head in for the SP3. Now that we're past this Hulk fight, should not be that hard. I evaded the Hulkbuster SP2, which was nice. Didn't have to deal with the block damage. So Mr. Fantastic's evade, tell me if you like it when you're actually playing with him. I don't think anybody likes it when they're fighting. But yeah, throw off the SP3. I don't think I had any debuffs. I lost track when I was fighting. But yeah, so now the SP3 still does decent damage. The SP2 probably does the most damage, in my opinion. Yeah. Okay, but yeah, so we get away from the Star-Lord's special 1 attack, and I try to refresh debuffs even though there are no debuffs other than a weakness, but that can only be refreshed by stunning them. But yeah, that we almost got wrecked right there. Thankfully, I was able to get out of the way, and there we go. The Hulkbuster Star-Lord Adaptoid was officially killed. Alright, but now we are moving on to the Captain America. We have to be a little bit careful on this fight just because of the parry, and that is his node. They are able to parry you, which will not be fun. If we get parried, we die. Because we don't have an extreme amount of health left. Alright, but I activate all of the pre-fight abilities. And yeah, now it's time to dive into the fight yet again. But yeah, what I'm looking for in the buff is make him what he is in this gameplay video, but just in general. No synergies or pre-fights. But yeah, just make it better with the pre-fights. Right now, he is in not ideal tier, I'm pretty sure. Maybe it's average tier. Which I think is inappropriate. He's not that good without his pre-fights or synergies, as I've stressed so many times in this video already. I'm sorry, you probably are tired of hearing me say that. Alright, but yeah, so this Captain America, we've thrown in 30 hits right now. A little bit past 50, about 60% has been taken off, almost 70 now. But yeah, so now it's time to head in for the SP3, no SP2, and as I said earlier, in case you forgot, after you throw the SP3, just keep up the debuffs and keep throwing SP3s. But yeah, we did just die on that fight, so this does bring us to the end of the gameplay video. But everybody, thank you so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy, make sure to hit the subscribe and like button. Please tell me what you think about Mr. Fantastic. Does he need a buff? If you do think he needs a buff like I do, what do you think it should be like? Yeah, make sure to comment new videos you want to see. I'm always looking for new ones. Make sure to follow the Instagram. It tells you a lot about my MCOC account and my channel. And yeah, everybody, thank you so much for watching. See you guys later.